Hey everybody, welcome to This Week in Rewards for April 6th through to the 12th, 2024, right here on RWRDS Canada. This is your weekly dose of loyalty rewards, credit card, and travel happenings in Canada. I hope you've all had a great week. And as always, before we start off, be sure to hit that like button if you like today's content, subscribe to our channel if you don't do so yet, and hit that notification bell to be notified when we do post new videos right here on RWRDS Canada. As always, we'll get the ball rolling with credit card news. There wasn't very much this past week. The main thing was the launch of the changes to the Rogers Red World Elite Mastercard. So this card was actually made better. This is Canada's #1 no-fee cashback credit card, and it's been made better for Rogers customers, that is, Rogers, Shaw, and Fido. These changes were actually announced way back in February, and they went live on April 9th. So now new and existing cardholders who are Rogers customers will earn 2% cash back on all purchases. That's up by 0.5%, and then 3% on purchases made in US dollars. And just like the lower version Rogers Mastercard, this card will also receive, or it's not will, it does receive a 50% bonus when you redeem those cashback rewards towards Rogers services, purchases, those type of things. So that's what does that work out to? A 3% return on all your purchases, or 4.5% on your US purchases. So this is huge. Like this is an amazing card if you're a Rogers customer, and it's an amazing card even if you're not a Rogers customer, because it earns 1.5% cash back on all purchases. In fact, the next thing I'm going to talk about, this card now ranks #1 in the next thing I'm going to talk about. So yeah, and then the other thing also with the changes on April 9th, the Red World Elite also receives the 5 free Roam Like Home days that the other Rogers Mastercard has. So basically these two cards are pretty much equivalent. The main difference is of course, the World Elite Mastercard has higher income requirements of 80,000 personal or 150 household to be able to apply for that card. So that's where you would, if you don't meet those requirements, you go for the other Rogers card. And you might be wondering, well, why, what's the difference? Well, the World Elite comes with the Mastercard Travel Pass by Dragon Pass, it's your airport lounge access, comes with more in-depth insurance coverage, like a better travel insurance package and everything with the card. So it gives you more, but of course you have to have that higher income level to receive it. What they did though is they quietly did take away the $25 bonus with this change. So when you get this card, there's no welcome bonus, but you do have those increased earn rates and those little bit of extra features. Now the Rogers Mastercard does still have its welcome bonus, not the World Elite, but the other one does still have a welcome bonus. So as I said, the next thing that I'm going to talk about here is the only really other credit card news from last week, and that is we had to update our top 5 Mastercards to use at Costco. And this was due to the devaluation of Brim, the loss of HSBC, and now these changes to the Rogers Mastercard. So really this enhancement brings the World Elite just, it solidifies its position as the #1 card, because Brim is no longer #1. It was #2 before, and now it's #1. So either Rogers card is basically the #1 card for use at Costco. It really depends on, if you're a Rogers customer or not. The World Elite is #1, I should say, for non-Rogers customers or Rogers customers. If you're a Rogers customer, then either the World Elite or the basic Rogers Mastercard are good options, because they both earn 2%. But if you're not a customer, you go with the World Elite version, because that gives you 1.5%. Now there are other cards that offer 1.5% at Costco as well. But most of those have annual fees, whereas the Rogers World Elite is a no annual fee card, so you end up earning more with the card. I'll just touch upon quickly too, we added in as an honorable mention the Canadian Western Bank, or CWB World Elite Mastercard. That's kind of the last bastion of Brim. It's Brim's 2%, because that card's actually powered by Brim for CWB. It still earns 2% cash back at Costco, up to $25,000 overall on the card in spending per year. So if you spend elsewhere, you won't earn 2%. Like if you hit that $25,000 on other spending and then go to Costco, you're not going to earn the 2%. But I think I'm going to do a totally different video just covering top 5 Mastercards at Costco, plus some of the honorable mentions, because there's a lot of intricacies there, and I think it'll make a really good video on its own. So I'll be sure to do that. soon here. And that's really it. Like I said, it was pretty quiet for credit cards, but coming up in the next week, we're going to see a couple increased welcome bonuses. I can't mention anything yet, but you will see those soon. So we're going to have some new offers for cards to check out. So stay tuned for those. So why don't we now move into our travel and loyalty section. Again, we were pretty quiet last week. I'm surprised at how quiet things have been going on right now in the industry, but maybe we're wrapping up because, like I said, next week we have the bonus offers for credit cards, some increased bonuses, and hopefully we'll see more come out from the programs as well. So the main thing here this past week is that a status match came out from British Airways Executive Club. So if you have Air Canada 50K or higher status, or status with some other loyalty programs, airline frequent flyer programs, you can match it for status with British Airways. Now, this offer is only available for Canadian and US residents, and of course, RWRDS Canada, so this is perfect for our Canadian followers. And so what this is, so members can get a status match for 6 months in Executive Club, so it's automatic free. You don't have to do anything other than them matching your status. You'll get either silver or gold tier status. You have to apply for it by May 7th. And to retain the status, so this is it's a status match and then a challenge. And then the challenge to retain the status is in those 6 months, you have to take 2 transatlantic business class flights with British Airways. So you have to take that into account. So it could be a pretty pricey endeavor if you want to hold on to that status. But if you're switching allegiances, this would be the time to do it if you know you have business class flights happening. If you don't think you're going to hold on to that status, you may not want to do this status match. It's a really hard call because they are very rare from British Airways. So this is a good time to jump on it if you know you can use it. But if you're not 100% sure, a lot of times these status matches are once in a lifetime. They won't match you again in the future. So you really have to weigh whether it's a good time for you to apply for a status match. Now, if you know that in the future you'll never use British Airways status, but you're going to have flights with British Airways or other one world carriers like American Airlines, or if you even in flying in North America, like if you want lounge access for flying with American Airlines or other one world airlines, Alaska, you name it, this could be the time to match, because then you'll just you'll increase your increase your value for traveling with those airlines. You're going to make your travel a little bit more, I guess, luxurious by having one world lounge access by doing so. So it's really I think it's kind of a specific status match, but it can be lucrative if you do want to just get those extra benefits for a few one world flights over the next 6 months, or really something to take a look at if you are somebody who is perhaps shifting away from Aeroplan or other programs for your transatlantic travel, or other one, or I guess, or if you're shifting away from Star Alliance and going, say, to One World Alliance. This is something to look at. But the key is to be able to complete those 2 business class flights in 6 months so that you can retain the status longer than 6 months. And then the next thing, really, it's the last for last week. I said last week was quiet. Is the new PetSmart Treats Rewards launched. We've covered this in the video before about the upcoming launch, how this revamped program was made even better. So it launched on April 2nd, so actually about close to 2 weeks ago, but I was a little late covering it here on the blog and in this video. Basically, what's happened since the launch on April 2nd, everybody got a boost to their points if you had points in your account to match the new redemption rates. And if you spent enough during the past year, you will already have your elite status. As I'm a frequent PetSmart shopper, as you guys all know, for our 2 beloved cats, I have received the highest status VIPP, which is a very important pet parent. And there's also an elite status tracker on their when you sign into your account now, that you can see how far away you are from elite status or for renewing elite status. So that's kind of cool. Personally, I'm looking forward to earning the 4 extra points per dollar for being a VIPP. So that's a 2.8% return just from the loyalty program. It doesn't even count what I'm earning on the credit card. So this is amazing. Like I said, this program was made better, and it is better now. To celebrate the launch of it, they had a 10 times points event for that first weekend. That's like a 20% return on your spending. That's over now, of course, by the time I'm recording this, but they do offer that 10 times points several times per year, so keep an eye on it. I'll be sure to post it on the site if I remember to. Of course, we're focusing always so much on credit cards and travel and these things, but I do want to push our focus as well onto a lot of these shopping programs, as they provide value in their own right. So hopefully you guys have got your VIPP status or other status with PetSmart now, and you've seen your increase in bonus points. And like I said, I'll keep keep people aware of any offers or any other changes that the program has going forward. And then, so that's it for loyalty. And the last thing is kind of travel news wise is the Moxy Banff has finally opened. Years of delays of that hotel. And it's finally opened. It's now actually the second Moxy in Canada. It was kind of a race to see who would be open first, Halifax or Banff, and Halifax opened in late January, so they beat out Banff for being the first Moxy hotel in Canada. It officially opened, I believe that was April. It was 13th or 14th. I don't have the exact date in front of me, but it's open now. It's actually owned and operated by Alto Hotels. Somebody we've covered, not so much lately, but we've discussed on RWRDS Canada before. It's a Western Canadian hotel chain but operator of other hotels, because they do run the franchises. So they run this Moxy Halifax. So this took quite a bit longer to open, because what they did is it was a renovation. It was actually probably, from what I heard, they completely tore out the inside of the Banff Voyager Inn. So this was one of the very first commercial motor inns in Banff. It opened in 1964. And so this was like a multi-year top to bottom renovation of this hotel. And of course, from what I'd heard is that there were some engineering issues or some issues because it was such an old building, so they had to complete everything and fix it properly, and that's all been done. And so it's open now. It's 109 rooms. A quick check of availability when I was looking when it first opened showed the nights were running from 37,000 to 50,000 Marriott Bonvoy points per night. So you can use your free night certificate from the Marriott Bonvoy American Express cards here. You'll have to just top it off with some extra points. Cash rates were as low as $146, but that was just during the opening week. Whereas in the summer it was running well over $600 per night. And I did see a lot of those very expensive nights. There were no rooms available for points. But I think in general it should be a decent option for points in terms of cash wise. Now it is a Moxy, so it's it's not a luxurious hotel, but it's a nice hotel. It's not a JW or a luxury collection or anything like that. But for the location, I think this is significant for Marriott Bonvoy members, because Banff is in my backyard. I've spent hundreds of days of my life there, and up until recently, Banff was kind of a black hole for points hotels. There weren't a lot of options to earn and redeem points. Back in the day, you would have something like you had the Holiday Inn in Canmore, but that's no longer a Holiday Inn there. So that's gone. I think you just have a couple options. There's no Hilton, no IHG, no Wyndham. This is the first Marriott option right in Banff. Can Alta, which I mentioned before, they have their Can Alta Lodge in Banff where you can redeem their Can Alta rewards points at. You have the Fairmont Banff Springs with Accor, or their all Accor Live Limitless program, and you have the Best Western Siding 29 Lodge right in Banff, and the rest are not really points hotels. In terms of the big programs, of course, you can use like hotels.com or your credit card points and that. Those all work there. But in terms of the big hotel loyalty programs like IHG One Rewards, World of Hyatt, Hilton Honors, there's no options there. But now Marriott Bonvoy has a choice. So that's good to know that you have one more option there in Banff. And really, that's it for this past week, for this week in rewards. As always, remember to check our site on a daily basis if you can for all the latest loyalty program, credit card, travel news coverage. And if that doesn't work for you, at the very least, subscribe to our newsletters. You get everything on every Friday and Saturday in terms of what we've covered for the week before. And follow us on our socials, because we cover everything there as well. Thank you all for tuning in. I hope you guys have a great week, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.